Guaido's envoy to France and Spain is Isadora Zubillaga, and she joins us here. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
First of all, before we talk about the bigger picture, your reaction to the images of this aid delivery to Caracas.
Yes. Well, before I say anything, I would like to comment on your introduction.
Sure.
Because Maduro is not the president of Venezuela. He is in an usurpation of power. And Guaido is the legitimate president because the Constitution says so. So just to have that clear. But regarding the aid, we've been asking for this for the last 2 years. Since 2016, we've been asking for the opening of the humanitarian channel, and we think that it was about time. And unfortunately, many people, many Venezuelans are dying every day. So this is only a little bit of what we need. This is only covering a small proportion of the needs of the Venezuelan people. The entire convoy of the Red Cross will cover approximately 600,000 people, and we need help for about 7 million people, as numbers stated by the United Nations.
Juan Guaido, since Western powers and regional powers recognized him as Venezuela's president, at first he really seemed to have the wind in his sails. Now it's been 3 months. That's a long while. A lot of press reports suggesting that the momentum is slightly being lost at this particular point in time.
Yeah, well, I think that last week we had the recognition of the OAS, and that's a big momentum for us. Let's not take that, let's not underestimate that.
The Organization of American States.
The Organization of American States have recognized our ambassador, and that's very important. It's hugely important because the support of the region is the drive that we have. And on the other hand, we have the support of the people, which hasn't turned down. So it's important that we understand that 3 months for a transition of 20 years of oppression, it's...
Because there are precedents of Maduro, when he faced huge protest movements, it seemed twice that he would buckle. And both times he basically tired out those protest movements, and he's still there.
Yes, but it's a different time. I mean, this time is irreversible. And it is irreversible because we have the Constitution in our side, we have the international community understanding what's happening, and most importantly, we have the people of Venezuela that supports President Guaido.
So let's talk about you personally, Isadora, because you had left the country in 2014. You'd been threatened.
Yes, well, I left the country with my family in 2014 after Leopoldo López was put into prison. The president of the country, Juan Guaido, also belongs to the same political movement that I belong, and we were all persecuted, and all the people that were asking for change and asking for the same things that we're asking today have been put into prison, persecuted, menaced, so threatened. So I left. I went to Spain, and I've been living in Spain for the last 4 years. And I'm now back to France when I went to school, and I'm back to France now to represent the president and represent the democracy and the freedom of Venezuela.
How does it work for your official title is ambassador?
Yes.
How does it work for an ambassador when you have dueling embassies, right?
Yes.
Like who has the physical embassy right now? How does it work?
Yes. Well, the government of France have recognized me as a special envoy.
Right.
The ambassador still is the person who was named several years ago by the then President Maduro. So he is on his way out, and eventually France and the whole of the European Union.
But he controls the embassy and the consulate physically here.
Correct. That is correct. Which it's not
so how does it work?
Any services.
From where do you work?
Well, I've been working with friends of the region and embassies of all the people from the Group of Lima. The ambassadors of the Group of Lima have been lending me their space, and I work with the Venezuelan people in France. And we do as much as we can, considering the limitations of the fact that you just mentioned, that they actually control the consulate, which is very important because we need to provide with some answers to the Venezuelan diaspora in France. But the work it's a non-stoppable. It's, as I said before, irreversible. And we have the hope and the preparation to build and rebuild the country. So this is very important to emphasize, because I think Europe and France in particular can play a very important role.
Isadora Zubillaga, many thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.